All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the call. Today, we're going to do something special. I've got John Peters has decided that he is going to share some of his secret sauce. Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you about that, John. You're going to be sharing some of that. And we're going to talk about a little bit about him and what he's doing. Before we do that, I do need to make a couple of honorable mentions, guys. Big time congratulations. Jason G, he's been with us for, I believe he just finished his 6th week with us now. And he finally hit that 5K mark. And last week he wrote over $7,000 in annualized premiums. So congratulations, brother. Great job. And for you guys who maybe don't know this, most of you don't, Jason, he never did sales before this. He never sold anything over the phone. He just got his insurance license. I want some of you guys to think about this. Those of you who've been in the industry for years, how many years, or at least months, how long did it take for you to write $7,000 of annualized premium in life insurance in 1 week? Congratulations, brother. That is awesome. And what I consider to be part-time, guys, my view, my perspective is you're full-time once you're spending at least $1,000 on your weekly ads budget. And that's for telesales. Face-to-face agents is different, of course, but for the telesales agent, at least $1,000. So Jason hasn't done that yet. You know, he did, I think he had the increase up to $800 last week, $800 to do this. He's been doing what we ask. He's been increasing his budget a little bit every single week. But this week, he's finally over that $1,000 mark. And so I suspect Jason's going to have a really good week. And now that he's comfortable with the system, I've got a feeling he's going to be doing really good going forward. Chris T, once again, wrote $15,000 of annualized premium. So, you know, 2 weeks or last week, I introduced Chris T to you guys. And, you know, Chris, it was his first week on the platform. He wrote 15K, or just under 15K. Last week, he broke the 15K. So he set a new record for that 1 week of annualized premium sales. So, you know, congratulations, brother. Good job. Keep up the work. I love it. I love it. And I want to welcome a new agent, Steve DaCosta. Welcome to the call and welcome to the platform. So Steve's been selling final expense face-to-face for a while. And he and I had a good conversation last week about, and he actually contracted with us to do Medicare. And so, you know, he and I had a good conversation about the telesales platform and how much money he was making and how much he wanted to make. And Steve, I got a feeling you're going to do really well with this, brother. I really do. I got a feeling that this should really surprise you. It's a lot different from all the driving that you're used to doing. All right. With that being said, let me stop the screen share and we're gonna get John on in a minute. I think he went to the bathroom. And so guys, and I know I've invited a couple of agents. Let me see, a couple of agents that aren't 100% on board with us, because I thought this would be a good call. I see Chris is on here. Chris P, welcome to the call, buddy. Chris was actually is actually a field agent. So he and I have been chatting, texting really, and I've got a feeling that this is going to be something really good for you, brother. I think you're really going to like what we're doing. If you notice, it's a lot different than the way we used to do things right off the bat. So with that being said, I am going to introduce John P. And first, let me start out, guys, by saying that John is an agent that reached out to me last year. And he was with one of those multi-level marketing insurance companies that give you those really low commissions, right? So he had sold some insurance, and I think he primarily reached out to me because he was more interested in getting into Medicare Advantage sales, but he also wanted to do some life insurance sales and some final expense sales. And so right around, and this was late last year, he came on, didn't do much. And then right around February, when Brandon started taking off and just kicking butt, I started calling John. I was like, John, you got to check this out. I'm telling you, this system we're doing with these calendar appointments, It's working. It's really good. And he was like, whoa, I already spent thousands of dollars on one of those Facebook ad systems, and he wasn't getting anywhere with it. He's like, I just threw my money away. So I had to have multiple conversations with him. I'm like, John, you got to try this. I'm telling you, this is you, this is you, this is you. He finally, and with that being said, he finally got on in April. He came aboard. He wrote just under $20,000 of premium, first time ever. And then he just kind of like said, you know what, I'm going to go nuts. Let's just throw it all against the wall. And he increased his budget for May and wrote over $42,000 in annualized premium. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome John Peters to the call. Hey, brother. Oh, what about now?
What about now?
Yeah, there you are. There you are.
All right. Sorry, my kids are screaming, so I had to mute myself real quick and switch offices. So I apologize.
Got it. All right. Well, hopefully everybody's going to get through this and start feeling better, man. So, so John, just, a little bit about you. When did you first get licensed? And how did you get into the life insurance and burial insurance business?
So I first was licensed in 2006, and I started off with a company called Northwestern Mutual in 2006. And I was there for maybe 3 years, and it was pretty much, hey, write down 300 people go call them and see them. And I was in my mid-20s at the time, and birds of a feather kind of flock together. And so none of us had money at that age. That was, and it was tough to sell those people life insurance. Most of them weren't married anyways. Naturally, you want to get referrals off of those people, but they're going to refer you to the same people who don't have any money as well. And so, it was really tough. I did, however, have a lot of success on the phone. Felt like I was always fairly good at it. It was natural just from cold calling people. So I'd cold call, law firms, doctors, resident doctors primarily. So I felt like I was always fairly decent, or had a natural maybe talent on the phone with a little bit of coaching as well. And then, so then I swore up and down after I went broke in Northwestern Mutual. I said, I am never getting in this business ever again, ever. Okay, I just swore it up, swore up and down, like, nope, this is it. Sorry, I lost it. Find something else. Let's find something with a salary. So I worked in for a copier company for, I don't know, many years. And then also, the other half in between that and insurance, I sold payroll sales. So after being in corporate America for a while, I got burnt out on maybe not being able to, maybe being more mature now, wanting to possibly give being a business owner another shot. Definitely not sales. But I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine on my softball team, actually. And he's like, man, why don't you just follow me around for a day? I was like, what do you do? He said, I'm in life insurance. I was like, no, I'm not doing it, man. Sorry. I did it. I went broke. And he's like, just come spend a day with me. So I got in a car with him and put me in the car with him, and he didn't sell anything the entire day. So I saw the bad. Then he put me in the car with one of his top producers, and I think we sat down with 5 people, and he sold 3 or 4 of them. And I'm like, well, this is way easier than when I started. You have leads you're working, you're not cold calling people, etc. So I thought, all right, well, this can't be that difficult. But I didn't really know exactly how much they're investing in their leads to go face to face, etc. And I was all in when I first got back into life insurance businesses, which was like I think I got licensed again October of 2020, November 2020. And I was all in, but now I'm watching YouTube videos, and pretty quick I figured out we are on the really, really, really low end of the pay scale in this industry. And so I saw, Doug and a couple other people are pretty active on YouTube, and I thought, I'm missing something here. I don't want to grow a team. I just want to sell. And while I'm selling, I need money to survive in this industry. And between the money I was spending on the leads and the commissions I was getting, it was really, really hard to stay afloat. So that's when I started reaching out to other people, and Doug luckily we connected. So I have zero buyer's remorse.
Excellent, 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 beautiful. All right, so let's kind of get into it a little bit. How much life insurance or final expense insurance were you selling, like right before, and I'm talking face to face, right before you started doing telesales with us, approximately per week?
Man, I wasn't killing. I wasn't a big producer, so maybe 3, 4, 5 a week. 5 may have been on the higher side. I think my highest week ever was around maybe 7,000. But yeah, I probably was more of like a 3 to 4
Gotcha.
sales a week guy, or 1,000 a week guy, I should say.
And so what do you think you're averaging right now? I know you've been on the platform for a little over 3 months.
Yeah, so if you took the holiday, I just look at my numbers. If you took the holidays out of it, I'm around probably 8,000 a week. My
Nice.
overall average, including holidays, day off, is 7,300 a week.
Nice.
So
Gotcha.
since I started, I had March 31st and all of April, all of May, June, and now I'm at $108,748.
Wow. And that's since you started with us for telesales.
Since I started, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Over 100 grand in just a few months. Most life insurance agents and final expense agents don't do that in a year. So sweet. Great start. So I want to ask you a little bit about how you present, how you do your presentation. I guess the question is, do you do anything that's significantly different from the presentation that I gave you? And how do you start off when they answer the phone?
Yeah. So starting off, hey Doug, this is John. How you doing?
Good, good.
Good. Hey, I saw you last night on Facebook, and that's the reason why I'm calling, is you responded to an ad that I had on Facebook regarding the state regulated final expense plans. Is now still a good time for you?
Sure,
Right.
that works.
And then I go straight into the script, and there's nothing different. I've played around the script. I've tried to shortcut it. I've tried to change things, and I keep going back to the script, and it works. So it worked when I first started doing it, day one, and things I feel like were shortcuts. I don't know. Maybe after a while, I guess they really weren't shortcuts in the long run. So I'm always open to maybe amping a script or cutting things out. I just don't know what to cut out because I feel like it's all good information, and you got to find a way to build rapport. And I feel like inside that script, there's a way to build rapport, and I don't have to think. So I keep trying to change the script, but I keep going back to the script. I feel like it's a really good script.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think everybody adds their own twist to it or changes, wants to make minor changes. My suggestion is, until you're really doing well with the presentation, not to make any changes. I mean, just like the trick is to read it in a way that doesn't sound like you're reading it, and just be as smooth as possible. You want it to be as conversational as humanly possible, guys. So John, let me ask you this. I know some days are like, it just seems like they don't want to answer the phone. What do you do on days when it's like that, when you're having a hard time, having conversations with anybody?
Yeah, so those days are annoying, and I just had this day on Friday. So I had 45 set appointments on my calendar going on day with Friday. And July has not been a good month for me. You took some time off from the holiday, the long weekend. With my in-laws, family, and stuff like that. So I was really excited Thursday evening going into Friday because I had a packed day.
Now, again, how many appointments did you have on set for Friday?
45.
Okay, so you guys heard that right. 45. Sometimes that happens, guys.
Tell anything until my last 2 appointments of the day, which were 5 o'clock and 5:30.
Wow, crazy. And you still
I kept telling myself, like, all right, just follow the numbers are going to work out at some point today. You just don't know when that's going to be. right? Now, there might be a day in a row or 2 days in a row where the numbers, you have good days set days, any opportunities to have bad weeks, I think, unless you're not calling people, you're not triple dialing people. So on days where nobody's answering the phone, you have to triple dial. There are, people are filling out lead forms that really don't schedule appointments with us on our calendars. So you could triple dial those people on your calendar. They don't answer. Then you go to people who completed the lead forms, call those people, and you're going to sell them. When I first started, I wasn't putting in $1,000 a week right off the bat. And I remember you and Brandon were telling me, hey, you're going to have to work these leads. It's not, Brandon showed me his calendar and he's like, you're not getting this right now. I've been doing this for a while. I'm putting more money than you are in. I think he was at 1,300 at the time. So I had to work them. And I keep telling myself that even on days where the people just aren't answering, there's enough people now, I'd say once you're a week or two in the business, especially a month or 3 months, that you can go back and call people and create your own activity. So if people aren't answering the phone from the scheduled meetings, and just start dialing people, even if you're dialing age leads, 90 days old, whatever, people are going to answer. And once they answer, now you got a pretty good shot at maybe getting a sale out of it.
Got it. Exactly. So sometimes you got to grind it out, guys. I mean, that's how it works. This business, it's all about activity. The people that do the most activity are the ones that win the race. John, you broke $10,000 in AP last week. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I was at 10.3.
Okay, so you did. You just broke the 10K mark. So pretty cool. And I know you've done that several times. So nothing new there. So yeah, nice. Let's talk a little bit about objections. I don't know how prepared you are for this, but let me just ask you this. What do you say when someone tells you, you've gotten through your whole presentation, you've gotten to the end, you've given the price, you go for the close, and they say, well, you know what, I just need a little time to think about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I want you to think about it, right? But that's all I'm going to acknowledge. That's all I'm going to acknowledge. I hear what you're saying, but does having life insurance set aside for your family when you pass away to pay for funeral, does that at least make sense to you? Yeah. So when you resell the company, then you go back to the close, ignore it. Just say, I'm not interested. Great. They're never going to be interested, right? Not that stage of the game, because most people aren't interested right away. A lot of times I hear that when I have a busy day and I just rush. I don't build rapport. I just rush through the presentation. And I know this in the back of my head when I go for the close and I give them the price. I already know they're going to say they're not interested, because I'm like, I didn't really do a very good job of building rapport in this sale. So I know I'm weak going into it. And then sometimes I'll pump the brakes a little bit and just breathe for a minute, and then try and build rapport then, and then go in the close. But not interested is usually a smokescreen. Then at some point you actually have to confront the objection, right? So if I go back into it again the second time, they're still not interested. All right, I hear that a lot, Doug, and usually it's for one of a couple of reasons, right? One, you may have had an issue with XYZ going on, and you just truly aren't interested because maybe you're overinsured, or maybe whatever else has happened that I heard in that conversation I'll bring up. Okay. Sometimes in somebody's voice, you can tell they just don't care. Okay. But usually but the other reason is on trees, I understand, and usually it's a money concern, and you're just not ready to make a payment today. Is that fair to say?
Sure. Yeah.
That's actually, I'd rather start the third of the month when disability comes in. Okay. Even though I mentioned that beforehand when we tell them how the plans work, when we say, hey, I just want to go through this one step at a time and let you know how life insurance works. Part of that process is we tell them, hey, you don't owe a payment today, right? We partner with Social Security, and they don't always hear that because we're saying a lot. And so then it's always a money issue. Yeah, I just don't have the money right now. Okay, great. So now then we can go in either the price drop close or explain to them, you don't owe any money today. It's not going to start until, the 1st, the 3rd, whatever that day is of the next month. And then there's other times where they're still not interested. They still need to think about it. Okay, so now we have to resell the carrier again, go through some additional features and benefits. And you can't give them every great thing about your company the first time that you go and ask for the sale. You got to have something else left to go back in. Okay, so I'm not giving them all the great stuff the first time I loop either, but I am I'm sounding more excited about it. If they're excited as well, they're getting more excited about it. If they're lackadaisical, just, I'm not really interested. Yeah, but check this out. I wouldn't expect you to be interested. But let me tell you about this. And then as you go through that, you're increasing your tonality, just to try and increase theirs so I can be really excited when I have to loop again and come back in.
Gotcha. So you're prepared to overcome multiple objections the way that we talk about it, the way we teach it, by going back, getting into the product, talking about the objection, the why, whatever it is that they're saying, and then going back to do the close, which is really what everybody should be prepared to do. What about when they tell you that they have to speak with somebody? They can't do anything. I got to speak with my daughter first.
Yeah, that's annoying because that's also a smoke screen, so I ignore that too. And lately, asking, and there's an old saying: if you're going to lose early. And we're not going to close everybody we talk to. And a lot of times it's because they really don't have all, and it's like, well, that's exactly why you would buy life insurance, right? Because you don't have any money and you need this money. But again, I'm at the point where I just don't want to have lapses anymore. It gets annoying. And there are some people, when you hang the phone up, once you close them, that first payment's never going to go through. And I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm asking up front, hey, is there anybody else that needs to be part of this conversation? Your beneficiary, your daughters, your husband? Oh, no, you make all decisions yourself? Okay, great. And then we're going on. If they say their daughter needs to be part of it later on in the sales process, I'm ignoring it. It's a smokescreen. They already told me they didn't. They already make all their decisions. So I'm just not buying it. I'm rarely going to acknowledge it. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm just going to move on.
Nice. Okay. I like that. That's good stuff. All right. So what advice?
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yeah, please.
There was something you mentioned when I first started that's always stuck with me too. And this has probably helped me more than any other piece of advice I've ever had. It's don't take their lying, their smoke screens, whatever it is. Don't believe any of it. In other words, don't fall for it. My time's worth something. And sometimes you got to be blunt. And the more you feel like you're bothering somebody, you're being rude to them. You're not, for one, you're being assertive. And and I think if you buy into what they're telling you, it's going to be a really, really tough way to get deals. And those 1 to 2 deals that you get a week are really, really important. You get every deal you can get. You need to have some business to submit every day. 1, so you feel like you had a good day, but 2, those things all add up over time. And if you get stuck buying what they're telling you, that they need to talk to somebody or whatever, or you feel like, I don't want to say this to that person because I'm being rude. You're not, for one, and it's just going to be a tough way to make the business. So when somebody tells me that, you gave me a really, really, really good piece of advice. And so I just call their bluff, whatever it is. I need to think about it. Doug, you've been thinking about this for 75 years and you haven't done anything yet. Come on, man. We're on the phone right now. Why not? You're never going to have to think about this ever again, because you really have been thinking about this for a long time and you haven't made a decision. For what? Because you could have saved $2 a month to somebody else? You're never going to do it. All right, it's going to pay $10,000. You saving $2 a month? Just come on. Let's just. And I think sometimes, I know people are going to be like, John, really? You're going to be that aggressive? What the heck? It's like, well, I'm not going to get your business anyways if we're going to go back and forth. And I have to sit here and worry about your feelings in this process, because you're not really worried about anybody else's feelings or your family's feelings when you think about it for so long. Just call their bluff, and you know what? If you hurt their feelings, so what? We have almost an unlimited amount of prospects at this stage of the game. You can call somebody else. That's just what it is.
I love it. Yeah, you gotta push sometimes, guys. I mean, at that point, you've got nothing to lose. And like John said, there's a difference between being assertive and maybe calling them out on their nonsense as toward being rude. You know, you don't want to. The trick is to be assertive without losing the rapport. You know, without crossing the line, without pushing it too far. And so, yeah, I like that John, you know, he basically, he's ready for multiple objections, and he's building up the product. Every time he gets an objection, he goes back, he gets into the product a little bit differently and hypes it up, and then pushes back into the objection, and then boom, right back into the close. So, John, what advice would you give to a new agent who's maybe having a hard time, or maybe not making the amount of sales that they want to make, that they need to make to see their success?
So if you're struggling, we all go through struggles. I go through struggles. No matter who you are on this call, you're going to go through some type of struggle on the call, right? So one, listen to your recordings, listen to your presentation. Ask other people for help. Ask Doug for help. Ask Brandon for help. If I have time, I don't mind helping, giving my feedback. But you got to be realistic with yourself when you're asking for feedback. Don't kid yourself. So if you're a new rep and you're struggling, which we all did, reality on the conversation, listen to your presentation. First time I sent Doug my first recording, he said, John, you're going to do good at this, but you sound like you're reading it a little bit, obviously, because you just started. Okay, so record yourself and listen to your recordings when you're, so you don't sound like you're reading your presentation. You got to practice it. And if you have time in between meetings and you're not triple dialing people, or you're getting stood up, whatever that situation that is, you got to practice this presentation. You got to know it inside and out, because that's what's making you the money here. So if you're not working on yourself and how you're saying things, being a pro at it, I would start writing down your goals and envisioning what you want this business to be for you, and have a real heart to heart with yourself on if this is the right career for you. But two, give it everything you have while you're starting now, because if you don't do it now, it's really hard 90 days from now to say, all right, now I'm going to try. If you're just now starting, that's the most exciting time, because once you get off to that quick start, it's a lot easier to build off of that. Your goal should be get $5,000, I think, as a new rep. Get $5,000 as quickly as possible in a week. 1 week, $5,000, then try and grow that. Because it seems like once you can hit $5,000 in a week, at $10,000 can come along pretty easy, or the $8,000 or whatever that number is. So go all in that first month. I mean, I probably don't have as many 8, 9 o'clock meetings as I do now, because I still have a family. I have 2 kids. My wife needs help, and I still got to be a father and a husband. But man, if I could hit the reset button, if I was a single guy, I'd be working. Actually, I probably wouldn't, because I'd be at the bar or something when I was in my early 20s. But man, just give it all you got when you first start. Practice your recording, listen to your presentations, ask Doug for feedback, ask Brandon his thoughts, listen to what Brandon's doing on the marketing side. This is a gift. So use your resources. And then after you pay your bills, put your money back in your business. It's got to go in. Whatever you have extra after you pay your bills, you feed yourself, put that into the leads. May not seem like a big deal now, but when you have 7,000 or 700 a week going in your leads, then you have up it to 1,000. That's a really good improvement. Go from 1,000 to 1,300, and it seems like once you're at that mark, That's where, I mean, a thousand is pretty good. You can definitely make a living on 1,000. I think it's harder, less, unless you're working to people who also just filled out the forms. But put your money back in your business, put your money into learning, improving yourself, watching sales videos. I'm not sure. I bet honestly, start my morning off listening to a sales video. I end my day listening to a sales video. I bet I spend an hour listening to other sales reps on YouTube, seeing how they're selling, because I don't have it all figured out. I never will. But everything I have, the good news is I didn't have to innovate. I just stole other people's ideas. And so, hire a mentor if you have to, but use Doug. Doug's a proven producer in this industry. Wear him out. That's his job. Give us feedback and help us grow. And don't be embarrassed about it. I'm telling you, do not be embarrassed about where you're at now, because I guarantee you, he would love to see somebody with zero industry experience, never sold before, and all of a sudden be a top producer. He's gonna get way more joy out of that than somebody who had sales success and they're still having success here. I might be right on that. I don't know. But I guarantee he wants all of us to have success. So work on yourself.
Excellent. Good advice. That's great stuff, John. Yeah. And guys, I do. I really, when you guys do well, I get excited. I enjoy it. I get that type of, maybe not quite at the same level as when I used to sell face to face and even over the phone, and I close that sell. That high that I get that seeing you guys do well too. So that's why I ask you to text me throughout the day. Let me know about your sales. Let me know how you're doing. John, excellent stuff, man. Thank you so much for all the information and for sharing all that stuff with us. Very, very, very cool. I really appreciate it. Agents, excellent. And guys, you got a whole week ahead of you. We got Monday morning. So if you need me, if you need anything, give me a call, text me, email me, what have you. Get out there and do your thing. Those of you doing on the phone, you know what to do, guys. Happy hunting.